Hello, this section is called Absolute Beginners. It's aimed at people who are on this course who are learning about Adobe Audition as part of the total mix to start their life as a professional voiceover. You may have already got this information about everything else you need to know, but just in case you don't, this is a really fast whistle-stop tour around everything you need to set yourself up and go through ways to find work and the various types of jobs you'll be asked to do. Well, I hope you'll find it useful. Okay, here we go. First of all, the types of jobs you'll be asked to do. Well, I could talk for hours about this because the variety is enormous, but it's certainly manageable and there is plenty of work for everybody. Your clients would be all sorts of different people working for advertising agencies or creative digital agencies, animation houses, games companies, TV and radio stations, telephone marketing companies, audiobook production houses, and these organizations may be very large, they may be small. You may be working for individuals who are freelancers just like you, but who need your talents as a voiceover to complete their projects. You will find that you will be attracted to certain types of work, and you'll also find that you're pretty good at certain areas of work and not as hot in other areas. For example, as well as the mainstay of TV and radio commercials, I tend to do a lot of audio tourist guides where visitors wear the headphones, they select the language, and I show them round an art gallery or a historical location. I also do daily news bulletins and economics reports for some regular clients. I used to be a BBC newsreader, maybe that's why, and a wide variety of telephone prompts advising callers which number to press for what department, recording advertising messages when they're on hold. That's what I mostly do. I also record many corporate video scripts, usually translations from a non-English language, where quite often my video editing skills are needed to synchronize up my voice with a non-English voice on the original film. You don't have to do this, but if you have that skill, well, I tend to attract that kind of work. I also do many character voices, upper-class twits, butlers, soldiers, demons, and Santa Claus around the holiday period. So I usually have one audiobook on the go at a time, usually factual, because I'm not that good at doing all different accents and voices for characters in fiction books. My voice age range isn't bad. I certainly can't do younger voices, and I'm a bit rubbish on hard sell reads and very fast scripts. So we all have our Achilles heels, but you may be good at the stuff I'm not good at. You see, we're all different, and there honestly is so much work for everybody, and the uses of voiceovers is going up all the time as more and more media is being used on the internet. So you will find you will have your own strengths and weaknesses like me. Freelance voiceovers work in their own studio, and they'll find that about 80% of the time they'll have been hired by clients who like the sound of their show reels on their website, or have an agency that simply send them scripts and you record them in your own time. The good thing about this is that you don't have hassle from clients while listening to you making mistakes, because you can edit these out later before you send the file. But the bad thing is that quite often you'll be asked to redo things when it isn't quite right, as you did not interpret the client's wishes. So that's 80%. The other 20% of your work will be directed. You'll wear headphones, and the client will be in their own studio or whatever. Sometimes you have 2 or 3 people talking to you from different locations, sometimes in different parts of the world. You've got the client, got the agency, the animation studio or whatever, all talking to you. And hopefully at the end of the session, the end client will get everything exactly as they wanted from you. Now, if you have already done voiceover work at other recording studios, and now you are setting up your own studio at home or in the local business park, don't worry, you're not really going to upset them. You're not a rival to them. You'll probably still get invited to other studios, and you don't have to keep news of your new home studio quiet. It's not as if you'll be taking business from them. The many years I've worked for external studios have not been wasted, because they still use me. It's just that they don't see me much anymore. Very rarely anyway. Thanks to the internet, everyone is connected together. And with fast broadband speeds, recording studios can listen to you at your home studio. So they still use you, you just don't have to drive to them anymore. Put on your headphones, they talk to you as if you're in their booth. You don't have the hassle of traveling. So I've been in many sessions where the recording studio has got the main end client in a different city and country. They're direct to me on headphones, assuming I'm in the studio of the production company when I'm actually at home. That's when you do have to keep quiet. What happens here is that you get directed for the best takes. They'll tell you they don't like the speed or the voice style, or they don't like the way you said a certain word or phrase. You want emphasis on certain things. Sometimes they even change the script once they hear it out aloud. And usually everyone chimes in with their own feedback. So you record in studio quality in your own facility, and then afterwards you send all the takes as high quality 24-bit WAV files via WeTransfer or something like that to the recording studio who booked you. So they listen at a rubbish quality on Skype or whatever, and then basically you send the quality file afterwards. Of course, you can subscribe, like I do, to a system like IP down the line, IPDTL or ISDN, where the studio can hear you in excellent audio quality. But to be honest, these days the internet is so fast, and free systems like Skype are so stable now. Didn't used to be, but it is now. Most people use one of these free systems to monitor you at an okay audio quality and just wait for the original hi-fi studio quality file that you send after the session. So, what do you need to set up your own studio? Yes, you need a microphone. Ideally, a large diaphragm condenser microphone with an XLR connector, not a cheap USB one. Spend as much as you can afford on it. Now you need to try various microphones out to see which one suits your type of voice to make you sound fantastic. Really important that. Then you'll need a microphone stand on an arm and a cradle. One of these cradles stops vibrations because the little rubber bands stop the traffic noise or your hand on the desk or whatever. And a double pop filter in front of the microphone to stop those nasty plosive sounds. On letter P's in particular. Now that microphone is connected into a digital audio recorder, and then there is a USB interface which connects everything to the computer. In a future chapter I go into more detail about the connection, but just to sum up, the microphone gets plugged in to your solid-state recorder, the output from the solid-state recorder goes into your USB computer interface, then that goes into the computer itself, and you monitor the sound either directly or via a mixer and then to the loudspeakers, the active speakers that have got amplifiers inside them, or you can of course have an amplifier before non-active speakers. All this is the equipment I happen to have in my own studio. Obviously you don't have to copy everything that I've got myself, but that's the general flow of how things are connected for audio, for a voiceover. You don't have to have the recorder. I'll explain that later. It's part of belts and braces. Soundproofing is very important because if you want to deliver studio quality recordings of your wonderful voice, you do not want any sounds in the background. No traffic noise, no plates from the kitchen, no aeroplanes, no annoying neighbour with the leaf blower. Why do people have leaf blowers? They just get blown from one place to another. But of course, no low-level mains hum from wires either, or computer fans or hard disks. They make a horrible clicking noise. It's a really hard job to get rid of sound, and if you don't really know what you're doing, you may need to outsource this job to someone who specializes in acoustic solutions. And it's not just getting rid of sound, you have to treat the area where you're doing your recording so it sounds acoustically dead. So it's two things here. It's getting rid of sound from coming in, and also you need to make it acoustically dead. It's easy to add reverberation or echo to any sound, but it is extremely hard, if not impossible, even with the latest Adobe Audition, to get rid of it afterwards, no matter how clever your software is. So, you've got your microphone, you've got your interface with the computer, and a very quiet area that is acoustically treated. And you do that by clapping your hands, can't hear any reverb or echo or reflections, sounds great. So, what else do you need? You'll need a comfortable pair of headphones so that you can be directed on those sessions. You'll also need some sort of loudspeaker monitoring. I personally like quality powered speaker, and I have a small mixer by the side of me. I've got an 8-channel mixer just for monitoring. You may not need this to start with, but somehow you've got to be able to listen back on loudspeakers, as you don't want to be wearing headphones all day. It'll give you a headache, will drive you mad, and to be honest, the loudspeakers just sound better quality. You need to be obviously connected to the internet. You need an internet speed of at least down 20 megabits per second and up 10 megabits per second. It is possible to work on Wi-Fi, but to be honest, if your studio computer can be connected by wire rather than Wi-Fi to your router, or router as we say in Great Britain, then do it. It'll be much more stable and usually faster as well. Okay, what else do you need to buy? On the computer, you'll need to install Adobe Audition and subscribe to that. At the time of recording, it's cheaper to have just one program to subscribe to than the whole lot, but check out the deals they have. Maybe you won't need more than Adobe Audition, but I also have Premiere Pro, I have After Effects, the video programs, for jobs where my voiceover needs to be synchronized with another video with another language on, and I get a lot of work that way. And if you want to teach yourself the video editing program called Premiere Pro, for example, you will get a lot more work when agencies and studios realize you can do that, and it helps you to see the pictures and sync up your voice. I like Adobe's Acrobat for better control over reading and stripping out text in PDF scripts, but it's up to you. So you might want to subscribe to all Adobe programs, but obviously it's more expensive, but I think it's worthwhile. Other expenses in your world of being a professional voiceover will come from subscriptions to various other things, as well as the obvious subscription to your website hosting, which has got to be brilliant. And there's a whole video about making your own website on YouTube, or there's a course on it as well. There's obviously Microsoft for using Word, Excel and PowerPoint, plus their email program Outlook or 365. I subscribe to WeTransfer. That's the system to send big files via a link you can send in an email. You can get away with the free service, but it's much more professional to have your own WeTransfer channel where you can put your logo up and information about your services that the client can see on their full screen when they're downloading your files. Looks fantastic. It's a free advert. And you get far bigger amounts of data use as well as a channel subscriber. You may also want to subscribe to one of these so-called pay-to-play voiceover websites like voices.com, voice123.com, Bordalgo, and so on. Or all of them if you want to, although I don't get that much work from them, but when I do, they're usually quite big ones, so it's usually worth my while subscribing to them. Most of my work comes from direct clients, and I go on about this in the marketing course. But when people get to know you and like you, and you have a relationship with people who you worked for in the past, you'll be the first person they'll come to when there's a suitable script. So personal relationship with companies and studios and agents that you don't have an exclusive deal with, that's where you're going to get most of your work from. Now, if you feel that you just want to work for a couple of agents that you found or have got a good relationship with, or want to do your own marketing direct, that's absolutely fine. As I say, details about how to get work are in the separate course on voiceover marketing. This particular course also includes suggestions for doing the accounts, chasing up payments, and all the other things you need to know in the rather boring but important side of making money. Right, back to this course. We'll be getting into the fun and games of learning how to be experts at the amazing software called Adobe Audition soon, but in the next chapter I'll show you in detail how to wire up your studio.